It was a disappointing result for Manchester City on Tuesday night as they went down 1-0 to Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League quarter-final. Not just a blow to City's progression chances, it was also the 20th away knockout match that a Pep Guardiola side has failed to win in Europe's top competition. Despite that poor record on paper, there have been notable success stories. With Barcelona, he picked up a worthy draw against Milan in 2012, and at Bayern his draw at Old Trafford in 2015 helped his side dump Manchester United out the competition over 2 legs. In between there were 1-0 defeats to Chelsea and Real Madrid that didn't raise many eyebrows, however a 3-1 defeat to Porto, a 3-0 defeat to Barcelona, and a 2-2 draw with Benfica in 2016 did invite more skepticism. Under Guardiola, City have reached the last 8 of the Champions League in 2 of the previous 3 seasons. In his first season, City were knocked out in the last 16 by surprise package Monaco, whose 3-1 home win overturned their 5-3 defeat at the Etihad. Upon reflection, that defeat was not as damaging as it was first perceived. Leonardo Jardim's Monaco side was made up of now elite European stars such as Benjamin Mendy, Bernardo Silva, Fabinho, Joao Moutinho, Radamel, Falcao and Kylian Mbappé. Yet the 3-0 hammering at the hands of Liverpool last season left a sour taste and gave the champions too much of an uphill battle in the second leg to overturn. However, this time round against Spurs, despite City heading back to the Etihad following defeat to English opposition for the second successive season, things are different. A slender 1-0 defeat means City are still in a position to turn the tie around. Whilst there was an obvious restriction and a lack of threat in the final third for Guardiola's side, this was most likely under the Catalans' instruction. There were perhaps ghosts of Anfield and other equally bad European away results still fresh in his memory. As a result, he opted for a midfield of Ilkay Gundogan and Fernandinho as they looked for a greater defensive foundation, sacrificing the penetrating presence of Kevin De Bruyne. There was less intensity from the first whistle and instead much more of a measured approach, almost as if he wanted to adjust and withstand any potential fired-up approach from Spurs in the opening minutes. Sure enough, as the game progressed, City took a foothold of proceedings. They could argue they did enough to take a draw, if not the win. Son Heung-min's match-winning goal came very much against the run of play and as a result of lapse in concentration from stand-in left-back Fabian Delph. The formidable Mendy is expected to return for the second leg after featuring against Brighton on the weekend. City's expected goals, XG, for the match stood at 1.98, and whilst around 0.76 of that value can be contributed to Agüero's missed penalty in the 13th minute, the away side still did enough to score at least 1 goal. For comparison, Spurs' XG for the match was just 1.32, despite having 2 more shots on target. City also enjoyed more possession of the ball at 58.47% and more successful passes at 493 compared to Spurs' 303. Yet following their reserved and lackluster start, City found it just too difficult to rediscover that extra gear they so often find throughout matches to overwhelm their opponents. The front three were left isolated, epitomized by the fact Sergio Aguero received just 14 passes all match prior to his withdrawal after 72 minutes. That reserved approach added with the fact City hadn't faced a real elite side since perhaps their League Cup final against Chelsea all played their part in the subpar display. Due to their commanding nature, the lesser sides they have faced have often preferred to relinquish possession and instead look to take an ultra-defensive approach against Guardiola's side, abandoning pursuit of a result and instead opting for a damage limitation exercise. This means City centre-backs can often walk with the ball from their 18-yard box to the halfway line without facing any pressure from the opposition. That lack of intensity in the opposition can cause a lethargy at this level that can be exposed when pitted against an improvement side like Spurs. For the return leg, fans can take solace in that City will be required to set up in their usually attacking and dominant manner. With recalls for De Bruyne and Mendy expected, there will be a more stable link between the midfield and attackers. Overall, the result was by no means ideal, but nor was it a disaster. City have won 9 of their last 12 home games by a margin of 2 or more goals and are more than capable of doing the same again in Manchester next week. While Guardiola's away record in European knockout football does give food for thought, City have devoured teams at the Etihad under the Catalans' rule. It is a blow, but by no means a fatal one.